How you doing, chat? I hope you came here to be entertained, and I hope I can do that because unfortunately, this particular news segment got me angry. Not hateful, no, just angry. You know, it's good to be angry every now and then. Causes indignation, gets you to call shit out. And it's from the Independent. I love to point out how the Independent is becoming like a Romanian newspapers. For those of you who watch my live stream, the way you can point out that a newspaper is from Romania is the huge number of ads it's got. So it's like, look, 1, 2, 3, 4 ads, and as you're scrolling down, you get to see even more at the bottom of the page. Here we go. You know, it's just like bombarding you with ads. That's what happens. Is the mainstream media is going a little bit on the down low financially. But anyway, right, so I'm not an MRA. I think a lot of you know this. I hope you're not getting upset about it. But reading news like this definitely pisses me off, you know, pushes me towards that side. Let me tell you about my philosophy, first of all. I don't think men and women should be equal. I think they should be equal under the law, but that's something else. I think men and women are meant to be different so they complete each other. Like, they should bring different things into the equation so that they create a strong, powerful unit when they bond and create like the strong, powerful family unit in order to raise healthy children, raise the next generation. You know, like my parents raised me. But unfortunately, we have to deal with identity politics, which treats women into one camp, men into another camp, and they're at constant war with each other, each fighting for their rights and shit like that. A little bit disturbing, to say the least. Don't really appreciate that worldview, but it's the worldview that we have. So, what apparently happened? Now, this is a news from 2002. Okay, we're going to look at how things were in 2002, and then we're going to look at things how they are today. Now, in 2002, apparently, there was a do-it-yourself paternity company, right, which was selling do-it-yourself paternity testing kits. And these were advertised everywhere, including in baby changing rooms. And apparently, a lot of fathers found out after taking the test, it's like, congratulations, you are not the father. And, you know, a lot of people got upset, divorces followed, and immediately, like, politicians were like, especially from labor. They found this to be grossly offensive. Look at this. It's grossly offensive. Why? Because it ruins families. And I see. So let's look at this the correct way. It's not the woman who decides to use her coochie outside of the family business, right? Like she can't get from the internal market what her coochie needs, so she gets it from the external market. And then she lies about it, right? Because it's not like, oh, this is about women, sexuality and freedom, blah, blah, blah. No. It's about women lying. That's the main issue. I have nothing against stepdads. You know, a lot of people are complaining and they're laughing and it's like, oh, cock this, cock that. Like, look, when you get to the age of 40, if you haven't have a girlfriend yet, chances are the market is filled with single moms. You know, like these are the sane women. It's like that Romanian joke, women are like parking spots. The good ones are taken. The empty ones are for handicapped. And that's pretty much it, right? So you're going to be constrained. And there's nothing wrong with the stepdad if it's consensual. Right? Like you consent to that. You're okay with it, then it's fine. You know, like if a man wants to take a woman that already has a kid, more power to him. It's his decision, his life. I don't live it for him. Whatever. But that's not what is happening here. It's women who have sex with other men, and then probably the other man doesn't want to have anything to do with them anymore. So then they go to the other guy that they're dating, and they're saying, oh, it's your kid. It's your kid. And then the other guy has to care for that child, right? Despicable. It's absolutely horrible. And if you think about it, there are cases where the woman then might not even be in a relationship. She just says it's your kid, and the guy has to constantly pay from his own wage. He has to constantly pay to a kid that's not even his. And, you know, maybe the guy wants to marry and have his own child, and now his income is just being devastated. And a lot of people think that, oh, this is an issue that concerns women. Now, I pointed out how if this were to happen to women, everyone would consider it to be the worst thing in the world. If you were to lie about a woman's kid not being hers, oh my God, like there would be massive outrage. And yesterday I pointed out to that news with the African nurse who liked to swap babies at the hospital, right? And she swapped like women, and women didn't like breastfeed a kid that wasn't theirs. And everyone was outraged. And it's like, congratulations, welcome to the club. Yeah, it's fucked up, isn't it? It's very fucked up. Yeah, absolutely, I agree. You know, I'm glad you finally get to see the light. But when it happens to men, for some reason, it's like, well, you know, who gives a shit? So you have like the politicians that are complaining that this is apparently destroying the livelihood of families and stuff. So it's not the woman that's cheating. No, it's the test that shows that she cheated. And I can't even imagine, right? Like I can't even imagine how it is to find out when you're 50 that your kid isn't yours, and that, you know, you've worked really hard your entire life and you're not going to be able to continue your lineage. Like chances are you're not going to be able to have a kid at 50. It's just the most disgusting, the most betrayal you can imagine. And you can think, oh, this only affects men. I mean, does it? Does it really? What if you're a woman and your son gets trapped in this? You know, like you're a woman and you're the grandmother of a kid that's not even your son's, and you know that your family heritage is just done. Boom, the end. You know, you're not going to be able to continue your family heritage because your son married a manipulative bitch who lied about his kid. And, you know, or what if you're a woman that marries a guy, you really love him, and now he has to pay alimony for another woman, and it's not even his kid. It's not even his child. Like, do you see why I'm not treating men and women as different camps? Like, everything that happens to men affects women. Everything that happens to women affects men. Because men and women are supposed to be, you know, this unit. They're supposed to be together. But anyway, so this was in 2002, right? Like in 2002, there was a massive scandal about paternity tests. And, you know, they tried to outlaw the way they're advertising. Like there was a huge campaign and huge push against them. So let's fast forward into today. Well, today, or at least on the 12th of January, we got this news saying that thousands of dads are left in shock. Shock, I tell you, as the do-it-yourself paternity tests soar. The DNA test can be carried out with just a single check swab. Up to 30,000 tests are being performed every year. 20% of men will learn the great news that you are not the father of the child they are testing. Sales of secret paternity tests are surging according to suppliers of do-it-yourself home kits. The DNA test, which can be carried out with a simple swab, are leading growing numbers of men to discover they are not the biological father. Man, I love doing this. Like honestly, like the for those of you who don't know, it was a American television shit show where you had the host getting people that thought that the kid might not be theirs, or they were involved in some marital infidelity, and at the end of the show they would be like, they would have the results and be like, you are not the father, and then everyone would cry, and it was great. My God, American television at its finest. I guess the moderator did have a lot of fun. But anyway, so apparently the figures are rising by 10% per year. So it seems we are living in a, what would you call it? Fake marriage culture? 20% of men will learn that they are not the father of the child. They are testing. He added in that some regions that figure is higher, including Northeast, where it is 30%. Fuck me! The explosion in demand for the test has been fueled by the ease on which you can get them. For about 99 pounds, testing kits, which promise 100% accuracy, the next day results can be bought online. Instead of requiring the physical presence of a clinic or both parties being tested, they involve only swabs, which are then packaged and sent to the company. And this means that the mother doesn't have to know, meaning the test can be done in secrecy. So some websites suggest that the DNA can be taken from children while they're asleep to avoid awkward questions. In some US cases, concern over this has led recently to a ban on do-it-yourself home DNA testing, with all the tests now having to be ordered by a doctor. Well, here's the thing, right? Let's say, because this is like the thing that tricks them. It's like, let's say you get a positive on this test, and you're like, well, the test isn't accurate. Well, now you actually have reason to do a real test. You know, like now you have a reason to go to an actual hospital, right? And get the proper test. Like if the woman says, what are you talking about? I didn't cheat on you. Let's go to a doctor. Like there is no way that this test can somehow, even if it gives false positives, There's no reason not to start a conversation and then actually go to the hospital if the woman is indeed innocent. Experts warn that the shock of learning that a child is not biological can lead to severe emotional distress. Well, no fucking shit. No fucking shit that leads to severe emotional distress. My God, like how is this like even? But I just wanted to show like how disgusting it is. Like if this would happen to women, if there was a case where nurses were actively doing what that African nurse was doing and swap babies, and women would find out that their kid isn't theirs and they have breastfed someone else's child without knowing, of course it would give them emotional distress. Of course it would be a national discussion and conversation, and they would have laws and regulations in order to crack down on this. And apparently, they're considering banning it, which is just disgusting. Yeah, so, every time and then I read news like this, which definitely pisses me off. And not to mention, like, it creates a low trust society. Like, you read something like this, and then you see that the law bans these tests. Like, you're going to trust women less and less. This is how MGTOWs are born. This is how you get people who are legitimate misogynistic, because it's like, well, society is catering to these ladies and it's going to fuck me over anyway. Why would I get married? Why would I ever get involved and have a child? Like, it doesn't create a high trust society. And maybe if women were aware that these things exist, and, like, you would have a law that every single child has to be tested for the father before considering alimony or something like that, right? If you'd have, like, this law, which would be really easy to be given, right? Like, okay, you want a divorce, that's fine. You want to keep the kid, that's fine. But before the father gets to pay any dollar, you need to prove that he's actually the father. You need to do this test. If you'd actually have that, you would see far less divorces. You would see far less women that are willing to cheat. You would see far less of these things happening. But instead, no, you're encouraging the opposite, which is why probably marriages are in decline. I know a lot of people that finish law school with me and they're like, tell me the advantage of getting married, And I legitimately can't tell them. It's like, well, I don't know. Like it used to be for my grandfather, getting married was this bond for life. That's how it was viewed. It was viewed as this next step in life. It was like a bond that once given can't be broken. Like divorces were incredibly rare. They were incredibly dissuaded from society. And nowadays, marriage is like the icing on the cake. You already have the relationship, you already have everything, and if you want to get married, it's just like the little cherry on top. And the consequences, like if you study law and you know the consequences for a divorce, it's like, why even do that? Like what is the advantage? What exactly do I gain if I get married? I don't get any advantage, but I get like huge series of disadvantages. But maybe I'm wrong, maybe, and by the way, I'm not the men going their own way. I'm just talking about it from my perspective. I don't understand the advantage of getting married, but if you're a different type of person and you have other opinions, go for it. I don't want to impose my ideas on other people or say that I'm right. Hopefully in the future, the lawmakers, noticing that the marriages are in decline, they were going to realize that there is a problem and try to fix it, try to pass some legislation that encourages marriages and discourages divorce. Because after all, when you get married, you put an oath until death does you apart, right? So I understand divorces in the case where there is violence in the family, like there's domestic abuse. Yeah, that's fine. That's another thing. But when you're talking about like the couple getting bored of each other, or for no other reason, they just decide, oh yeah, I'm bored of you, I just want to divorce, like a lot of actors do and stuff like that. I don't think that's acceptable. But you know what? Let me know what you think, and I'll definitely be reading the comment section on this one. I'll be releasing one more video today, and then I'll go on my live stream. Please join me there. We do talk a lot of interesting stuff over there as well. And I'll see you all later.